Good evening. Good evening, respected Principal Sir, Professor Dr. N.C. Ghosh, our guest speaker, Mr. Shatanik Roy, all dignitaries present here, and all the participants of this webinar. I'm starting today's session with permission of our respected Principal Sir. Today, it is our first program of Q1 of Institutions Innovation Council calendar activities for academic year 2021-22. As you will all know, that Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India is making every possible effort to make innovation and entrepreneurship to emerge as one of the focal points of our education system. Taking part in this initiative, Institutions Innovation Council BIT presents today's webinar on My Story motivational session by a successful entrepreneur, which will certainly motivate all of us to start our new journey. I am requesting now to our very own Principal Sir, Professor Dr. N.C. Ghosh, to address the audience. Sir, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's good evening to everybody. I specifically welcome Mr. Shatanik Roy, who is the keynote speaker for today's talk, and also welcome Professor Orpita Chakraborty, then Dr. Tanmoy Pal, and also our Tapon Pal, Bulbul Mukherjee, Sudipto Datto, and Shutopa Rai, and all others who have joined as faculty from BIT and also the part of this IIC, and also all other faculties and my dear students. As it was said that, it is the first webinar of this committee, this new IIC committee, and it is organizing on the day of Dhanteras. Dhanteras is famous in the northern India, not in Bengal, but nowadays it is also getting popularity in Bengal as well. So Dhanteras is, I think it is today or tomorrow. So on this festive season, when we have a talk on, when someone say that my story, so my story means, of course, when someone has got the wisdom, then he can talk about my story. And definitely he has got success. He's a successful entrepreneur. So this also motivated me that, okay, we are going to hear a successful entrepreneur, and our students, they will be hearing you, Mr. Shatanik, because when you will motivate them, definitely the young generation will come forward with your wisdom and also experience. So I have gone through the small, brief about your story and also your journey. So you are basically, I understand, a mechanical engineer. Am I right? So you also studied in Stanford University. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So when someone has studied in Stanford University, definitely he has got some sort of wisdom, So we love to hear you. And I also saw that, okay, you have built a hyper exchange that has got $1 million valuation.
It's
$1 million valuation.
It's almost like around, we are currently at around over $100 million valuation, actually.
Yeah, that's a great things I have seen that, okay. And also the hyper exchange has got number of investor. It starts from IIM Kolkata, Microsoft, Tech Mahindra, and also etc. etc. There are many others. And also you have featured over, say, CNBC, Hindustan Times, Times of India, and you also worked in PM Yuva. Am I right?
Actually, so PM Yuva is actually the where Prime Minister Modi had a thing for entrepreneurship development across the country, and I was featured as a case study over there.
Okay, that's great.
Government. Yes.
Yeah. So you were also honored by Consulate General of Scotland and Japan.
Yes.
And also you have Guinness World Record in your name. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
yeah.
all these things are Miss, these are some feathers in your cap, and this gives you gives a lot of Miss encouragement that we are going to hear someone who has got a lot of wisdom, who has got a lot of awards in his name. So with this, I again welcome you to our talk, and I hope that by your speech you will be able to motivate our students.
Thank
This
you,
is
sir. Thank you.
basically the students, and we are also in the receiving side. When you will talk with our students, we will also receive something from you. With these words, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to welcome you, and also share some of words from my heart.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Principal Sir, for your valuable speech. Now may I request Professor Urpita Chakraborty, President of IIC BIT, for her speech. Please welcome Urpita.
Thank you, Shudhabadi. A very good evening to all of you present over here. I'm clearly audible. Am I clearly audible?
You are.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, we continue. Hope all of you are maintaining good health and spirit. And yes, as sir said, it's the festival of light is in the air. And on the eve of this auspicious festival, we the team IIC BIT Institutions Innovation Council, Bengal Institute of Technology, we are going to mark the beginning of the new session IIC 4.0 academic session 21-22. As we know, IIC is an initiative by Ministry of Education in collaboration with AICTE to systematically foster the culture of innovation and startup ecosystem in education institutions. IIC model is also very unique and distinct as it integrates the functionalities of flexible calendar activities, scoring and rewarding systems. The recent achievement of India's 48th position in Global Innovation Index ranking is the reflection of the same. With the same motive, IIC BIT is also putting hard endeavor for promoting innovation. Throughout the year, we organize various webinars, seminars, workshops, and several other activities. Today is the first seminar of this session, 21-22 session, and we are glad that we are having a successful entrepreneur, Mr. Shatanik Roy, with us, and we are eagerly waiting to hear from him. Hope we'll have a wonderful session. Thank you all of you for your kind participation and cooperation. Thank you once again, and welcome Mr. Shatanik Roy to Bengal Institute of Technology. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Looking forward.
Thank you, Professor Urpita. Now I am going to introduce our today's guest speaker, Mr. Shatanik Roy. Mr. Shatanik Roy, co-founder of HyperXchange, was started his journey as a mechanical engineer and ultimately turned into an entrepreneur, building his company HyperXchange. He did his post-graduation from Stanford University. He started out of a dorm room, building HyperXchange to over several billions of dollars valuation. HyperXchange has been invested by IIM Kolkata, Microsoft, Tech Mahindra, UB Group, JP Morgan, and several other investors. He is East India's first Forbes 30 under 30 and was featured over CNB, Hindustan Times, Times of India, and several other media platforms. He was also featured as a case study in Prime Minister's official government manual for PM Yuva. He is the author of The Classic Retreat of Anarchy and I met the demon. He spoke in several media forums and universities, including IITs, IIM, who hosted and honored by Consulate General of Scotland and Japan. It is our privilege and honor to have Mr. Satanik Roy, co-founder HyperXchange, as a guest speaker. Please welcome Mr. Satanik Roy.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you.
Shatanik, stage is yours. You may start now.
Okay, all right. I mean, great. Thank you so much. I mean, professors. Sir Dr. N.C. Ghosh, everyone out there, and my dear students. I mean, thank you so much for such a great honor. Great to be over here at BIT. So I'm just back to Kolkata once again. I'm from Kolkata. Last night for some work happens, like I'm back in Kolkata right now. And it's great to see the type of involvement even we in Bengal we are trying to achieve. It's always great. I mean, I'm 26. It's not before I was probably one of those students sitting over there, right? And definitely this is years back because it's pre-corona, right? And I used to hear so many people giving a talk to us, and it was great. I mean, from there to here, it was a journey which has been fulfilling, which has been hard, which has sometimes been challenging, but end of the day, something which stays with you forever, right? I'm happy for any questions. So there's a Q&A box. End of the day, I mean, end of the session, we can also, you can ask me directly if you want to question something, any queries, anything you want to know from me. But I believe, there will be 3 or 4 points I might share as my experience, as my journey. First and foremost was always seek for help. I mean, today you heard a lot of things while we started, probably a long list of things. This happened, that happened, but it was not very different for me either. I mean, I started my journey from here at Howrah. So I basically belong to Howrah. That's where my home is, right? I started my journey from Howrah, and I do not come from a business background altogether. All right. So the first startup I started and exited actually was in the fintech segment. And believe me, I started this startup when I did not have any clue what a company means altogether. So I started a startup without even registering it. And I was somewhere managing 30 odd people out there, right? From that journey to probably something which is somewhere successful today, there's long way to go, right? This journey taught me, the first thing it taught me is always when you want to reach somewhere, ask for help. I come without an experience as my family background. I come without an experience as my corporate background. I did not work in any company specifically for a job or anything of that sort. Yes, I had some internships, etc. But that does not give you a full corporate experience. Someone who is probably, into a job for 30, 40 years of their life, now starting something out there, knows management very well. I had no clue. And even today, I am figuring out. While I'm figuring out, it is important for people who knows the game, who, probably help me achieve where I want to be. And the first thing I always realized is when you ask for help, when you seek help, so many people out there are ready to help you. I was speaking in one of the colleges couple of weeks back, SRM. All right. So there was this person called Rahul Narvekar. I think if some of you follow startup ecosystem on a regular basis, you probably have come across his name. He's very famous. I mean, he was the ex-CEO of NDTV, started a venture capital fund of his own, invested in many startups. I was trying to catch hold of him during the early days of my college, right? When I was starting up, just like you all. And the only means to catch him up was probably Facebook. So I was texting him continuously over Facebook, sir, can we have a call? Sir, can we have a call? And suddenly he calls back. He calls back when I'm in the middle of the class, right? All I did was I went to the washroom and took the call up and said, sir, this is what it is. I'm starting something up. This is my idea. Can you fund me? Right? And basically, believe me, the entire thing was just an idea. It was not where I have a team or anything of that sort. Right? He never invested in me, but I mean, throughout my life, I probably have hundreds of examples where he played a very big role in the decisions I took in life, right? So whenever you reach out to people and you have that in you, people are there to help. Seek for help. That will be the first thing I always say to anyone I always meet, because we today do not know. Should we go? Should we approach? What will they feel? Should I have this already? Should I have that? You only seek for help when you're clueless. So be clueless and seek for help. The second point I always learn, this is very interesting. So I was talking to someone, a very senior management that has just joined our office recently, and he wanted to have a one-to-one conversation with me since I was back in Kolkata, and this is the first time we are meeting. He said, "What do you think is my expectation? Is my expectation? What is your expectation from me? Right? What do you expect me to do?" The first thing and the only thing I took an example was, so years back when I was starting out, one of the person who taught me the tricks of the trade was my co-founder, Dipanjan. Dipanjan comes from a very senior background. He had over a couple of decades of experience in the valley. Sold his last startup in the Silicon Valley to Slack, right? Sold one company where he was part of the company which got sold for $1.2 billion, right? He was part of the management which sold the company. So comes with extensive use of experience, right? So I was talking to this person today and I said, the initial days of starting up, there was a very funny incident that happened. He never questioned me about anything. I said, Shautani, go out there, do anything you like. Right? And interestingly, back in those days, as I just mentioned, it was nothing. It was just an idea. And I was trying to convince people as a 19-year-old kid, sir, this is the best idea out there in the world, right? I got the ex-vice president of Ola Cabs on board. I got the ex-chief marketing officer of Zomato on board, right? And so basically there's a point. So I got them as an advisor, all right? But I also got someone who was doing my press releases back that time and said, I don't charge you anything. I am doing this because I like the idea and I believe something will be there tomorrow. And we just went ahead and made published a story out there where we mentioned like they have joined on board as an employee. Right? And of course, you guys are not yet there in your corporate career, but an advisor and an employee is a lot different. Mentioning someone as an employee is a very legal offense in many of the cases, and I had no clue, right? And it took the things on a very wrong way, etc. Dipanjan just called me up and said, let me handle this right now, and he did. And believe me, he never scolded me for that. You know why? I always say this from their hands: never ask for permission. Rather, if you make a mistake, apologize. So do whatever you want. Don't ask for the permission, because if you keep asking for permissions, things will be such where you won't be able to take up things on your own, right? But if you do, and if you fail in it, and say something goes and say creates a mess, people will be there around you always to make sure you're out of the thing. So there's always an escape button out there in life. Do not ask for permission. Try everything on the keyboard out there. And when you think it's the time, go out there and apologize. That is second thing I always believe should always be the mentality and always be the thought process in approaching anything in life. Third and foremost thing, I would say is very important. I have probably this is the last point I'll come to. Before that, I think the point I'll speak about is persistence. It's very important to be persistent. I mean, we all hear the stories, right? We just heard Zomato went IPO, Freshdesk went IPO for $10 billion. We have all these interesting stories around. I see 235 participants right now. And I feel some of you have some dreams, like maybe tomorrow I'll start something of my own. Maybe I'll get this amounts of investments. People will go and write about me. Students will hear me speak. People will share their journeys and experiences with me. All these things are good. While all these things are good, I will tell you something. It takes you years to be over there, to build that credible story out there where probably Forbes is covering you as a 30 and a 30 or whatsoever. Those are internal, I would say, those are internal thought processes, and those are internal marks and probably also milestones you have in your mind. But end of the day, what really matters is it something you're doing, and are you so sure about that you're going to do this for the next, say, 5 years, 7 years of your life? You attain all this success overnight, but only after 5 to 7 years of real grinding. That is very important. Is it something that is so near to you, that is so close to you, and you believe in it so much? I gave up a job at Microsoft after my graduation, right? It was a California placement. Let's not talk about the numbers, etc. And we were not even invested back then. It could have gone on. I mean, all the stories, all the things we are sharing now is because somewhere a part of it has been successful. But there was 99% a chance it wasn't, right? So it's a call from your side. Is it something you believe? Is it something you believe, you feel is right? And you can go and give 5 to 7 years of your life into this. Last and foremost thing, before I'll open the stage for questions, is I often hear this: should I go for a job or should I go for a startup? Right? I have only one thing to say over here. It is your journey. It is your journey. The last point I said was persistence. Where do you think you can be persistent? As I just mentioned, I mean, while you start early in your career has its advantages, you do not have too many things on your shoulders today. You can risk your career a lot more than you can probably say at the age of 35 or so, right? Because there are challenges, there are family pressures, etc. There are responsibilities. Now is probably the time where you can risk your career, but at the same time, it comes with the cost of inexperience, as it was also true for me, and is also true for me. I am having a hurdle to learn things up by myself every day, to be over there at par with my competitors who are say probably like say almost a decade older than me, right? That is a very challenging part. So you can either choose, great, I'll probably give 24 hours of a day learning and unlearning every day from a person who is probably working for 8 hours a day, right? Or I can rather give 8 hours a day, start somewhere, learn things up for say next 10, 15 years of my career. And with all the experience, I'll have a happy, good management skill to take and lead things, thereon. So it's a very, very personal question, but always remember there's no shortcut. There's no shortcut. If you want to compete with the exact person, with all the experience out there, you probably have to work twice the amount of work he's doing on a regular basis. That is not for a single day, not for a single week, but every day, every week, for almost 5 to 7 years of your life. It is something you're up for. So those are my learnings. Happy to I'm happy to answer any questions from your side. Anything you want me specifically to speak about, happy to say that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shatonik Roy. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So, student, dear colleagues, if you have any question, you can ask her, you can ask him directly. Otherwise, you can unmute yourself or you can ask him directly. Or you can put your question in a chat box also.
So I have a couple of questions. I think I'll start with them. All right. Just give me a second. Yeah. So the first question is from Siddhant. Right. My question is, when do you think, or when this idea arises in your mind to become an entrepreneur? I think there's no right time around it. If you feel there's a huge change you can bring about a certain problem, and you see this is something which is a not just for me, but a very very significant problem for everyone else out there. Right? I think that's the moment. I mean, that's the moment where you think something can be done. I'll give you a very small example. So Flipkart was started by the ex-employees of Amazon. Right? So e-commerce was nothing new for India. What is the reason e-commerce happened in India? Why Flipkart was so successful? Because Flipkart thought India is a country which still does not have credit cards, etc. India is a country which has trust deficit. If that is the case true out there in the world, right? For India, this has to be a different market also out the world. It introduced one simple thing called cash on delivery. It said it's the same thing. You will give me the cash before I give you the product, but you give me cash. So the product is reaching. So many people on board doubted the CEO. So many people on board said, no, this will not work out. But they said this is the only thing that will make Flipkart what it is today, a $35 billion company, right? So it was a very, very small problem out there, very specific problem. E-commerce existed for years, because not just years, decades. They just figured out what was the problem out there. And was it a problem so significant enough that it can change the entire story, entire financial story for a country? And it did. That is what Flipkart did. That is a very similar example. What probably most of us can do. Can we figure out one certain single problem out there, and we figure out, is that problem big enough, right? That will be my answer. The next question I see, how do HyperExchange work? All right. So Rajan, at HyperExchange, we work with refurbished devices. All right, we are currently India's number one brand for refurbished devices. It's more of a circular economy process we are into. While that is true part of that, the other part is we are deep into our technology. We have over 7 patents across all our technologies, and currently the R&D is based out of Scotland. Right, there are different things we are building. We are building a single common diagnostic platform for electronic devices, which is in there. We are working with the government to make import of refurbished devices in India. In India now, something which could be tomorrow be legal altogether because of the parameters we are building around it. It's almost like the ISI mark we are trying to build over there. And last and foremost thing, we have one of our R&D is focused on creating the next generation of devices called modular devices out there, where I'll just give you a simple example. Say, for example, today if you buy a mobile, right? Today, if it comes with a 18 megapixel, say, front camera, 32 megapixel back camera, 3200 image battery, whatsoever, you buy the entire configuration. You cannot pick and choose. We are trying to build the next generation of devices where you can pick and choose and play it like a Lego block, right? Plug in, unplug it, all those things are there. So these are a couple of things and work we are doing at HyperExchange. BP has asked what urges a person to become an entrepreneur. As I just mentioned, it's not an urge, right? Somewhere, while you feel you can touch a billion lives and be there for a billion smiles. I think end of the day, it's about creating the change and probably solving a problem that you feel should have been done, and why is no one doing it, right? That will be the one line thing for that. Sam has asked, today we don't need money to start startups. We can open it from our home only. Yes, of course. I mean, Sam, I can give you hundreds of examples. I mean, one of the biggest example out there of successful startups, which has zero investments out there, Zoho, right? Zoho, even I would say Zoho is even bigger than French Desk to some extent, right? And the type of work the founder has done, building it from scratch, from zero, with no capital investment altogether, is a great story. Zerotia has been in news for a long time now. How they built a very credible story out there. And one of the very other founders, many of us don't know about the first startup, which was a unicorn startup in India, was called InMobi. So all the mobile phone games you play, you see the advertisements coming out. Those advertisements are managed actually by this company called InMobi. This was the first billion-dollar company based out of India, right? Much of his story has also been where he had done everything out, bootstrapping. And see, I'll also explain this, Swam. You cannot go out there and think I'll start a startup today. I'll just pitch an idea and ask for $1 billion or $1 million check out there. It doesn't happen. Uh, you have to build a credible story, and it is at the point when you do not need the money, that is when the investors come in and say, you're already doing this, it'll probably grow from this to this in next say 5 years. How about let us do this growth in next 1 year? That is the reason you need the money for. It's not about the glamour or all the stories that that media builds around it. Definitely it's very hard to come to that stage. And the reason it is respected and probably I would say celebrated, because you have already a credible story which now can have say chances of success even greater, and someone believes and bets on you with their own personal money, right? So going on to that stage is very important. It's not about starting something and saying, tomorrow I have a startup certificate, so day after tomorrow I should get $1 million check. It doesn't happen like that. So yes, unless you build, uh, I don't think any startup has, at least in India, has been funded in the idea stage before it had significant traction and transaction and market capture before it was funded. Right? Arinav, Anevan, by myself and family donation, I can't afford a good investment in a startup. Should I go for it? Anevan, I'll tell you something. I mean, if your startup requires a huge lot amount of money to start, right? I don't think you're on the right track, because we always say build an MVP. MVP is minimum viable product, right? If your idea is about a great thing, which can probably be done throughout the world and etc., build a very small version of it. Build a version so small that you can work with it and figure out that yes, this is the problem I'm trying to solve and this is my solution, and the solution works. Now exactly with this solution, now you can go out in the market and you do not have to have an investor for that. There are government donation, government grants, there are incubators, there are hundreds of other facilities. Probably if someone is looking forward to even connect with me for all these things, I'm available over LinkedIn, I'm available over Facebook, Instagram. Drop me a message, I'll be happy to help or connect you with the right folks out there, right? There are hundreds of opportunities out there. Go to them and say, there's a problem I identified, there's a solution out there which I have created. I've created one solution for this. Now for 10,000 solution, I need this is the capital I need. Can you probably provide me with all the links, or say the capital or whatsoever is required out there, right? I think Anevan, that is the way to go forward. It's not about thinking about to change the world altogether in one go, and that does not happen. So figure out the smallest solution for the biggest problem you're trying to solve, and now scale it up. If I can do one of them, I can just build hundreds of them and probably solve a bigger problem out there. That's the solution out there. All right, the next question is, I think they do not have that money. Who said if everyone today wants to join YouTube and make videos, but they don't have the money for the setups? So my idea is that, can we give the studios and they will pay me a little? Yes, of course, many people are doing it. But I don't have your name over there. Whosoever asks this question, I'll just ask you one thing out there. How scalable do you think is it? I mean, do you think if tomorrow someone sitting in Florida wants to have a similar solution for it, is it possible for you to ship from here to there? I don't think logistically that is viable enough. So this is probably a point where you're looking at a problem which cannot be viable to a greater mass or a greater audience with the solution you have. What can you else do? Just right away answer to it. Can you probably make something out there where you connect these two people, right? You can verify. You can probably make a very simple website where someone who is having such a setup is okay to probably rent it out, right? And you verify it. They have to place the pictures out there. You can probably have a stand out there. You can probably use AI to figure out if it's a stand out there, if it's a light out there, right? And the next point is, you verified this. Now probably someone sitting in Florida has verified that they have this solution out there with them. Someone sitting over there now can just connect with them and get it done, right? So as I just mentioned, this is just a simple thing and has to be thought more depth, etc. But figure out a solution which is applicable for a larger audience, not just a solution where, how long can you reach? You can probably give this to every audience out there in Kolkata. Now, shipping it out of Kolkata will be a challenge. Will definitely be a challenge. Can you do that? If you have a solution for that, logistically, please go ahead and do it. Sir, you have raised your hand. Is it you have something to ask me?
Yeah. So
Yes,
have
sir.
you answered all the
Please.
questions? Have you answered all the questions, or
No, sir.
I can?
No, sir. I see. But sir, please, definitely,
Okay.
I'll love
Okay.
to answer you. Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, if
Okay.
you have any question, please ask.
Mr. It's not question, it is a discussion I'm initiating,
Yes, sir.
Miss.
Yes,
So,
please continue.
so India is an agricultural based country,
Yes, sir.
So we always say that our farmers, they are deprived of, say, any produce they make, because they don't get any cost for that.
Yeah.
In between the farmer and the customer, there are a number of brokers,
Correct. Yes.
And on the other hand, we say that India has got huge roadside economy, right? Huge roadside economy that cannot be broken, right? So don't you think that, okay, there should be some app to have the connectivity between the, say, farmer and the customer? Now,
Definitely,
this is
sir. I think
this is
okay.
one. Second one is, say, our 68% population of India is living in villages. 32 is in urban areas.
True.
And our country doesn't want that, okay, people in the village, they should come to the urban area, because we are in short of infrastructure facilities in the urban area. And most of our skilled laborers and skilled persons, they may not be educated so much, but they are very skilled. They are in the villages. So can all this, say, app, whatever our future generation or people like you can go to the village and develop some app which is farmer based and also directly connect to the, say, customer. So these are the two things I'm just putting before you, so that our discussion and thought process can go in that direction.
Definitely, sir. I mean, thank you for that. All right. So I would just answer in a single sentence over here. All right, sir. I mean, I know I have seen a lot of people already working on this. All right, I've seen a lot of people already working on this, and they're doing some brilliant work. I've recently come across a startup who so not just agricultural thing. All right. So about animals, right? Say animals, as in, say, for example, today, uh, bulls and cows in rural sites are a great example, right? So they're with brokers, etc., right? They are now trying to move this apart as well, right? So interesting play. I feel, right. There are a couple of challenges. I feel could also be there. I mean, say for example, inventory is a huge challenge. I mean, when I say this, as a marketplace, if you're thinking about a marketplace model very similar to Flipkart, Amazon, right? Today, why can't they bring these people out there, right? It's a very very valid question. I mean, so today, me or you building an app out there, and today, say Amazon or Flipkart investing some money, getting some people to work on that is not a big challenge. I think, and I do not think they do not have the idea of doing that. There are challenges like inventory management. There are challenges still like logistics, etc. A very 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 big challenges in terms of logistics, etc. out there today, out there in the market, right? Those are the issues which which is always there, and somewhere we are not we haven't been able to break those barriers out there yet. So, sir, as I just mentioned, rather than thinking as a whole idea, what students over here, I would always tell them, guys, figure out the small changes. As I just mentioned, what sir mentioned is is the biggest opportunity out there. If you can track tier 2, tier 3, the rural areas, nothing like it. I mean, every one of us are behind it. Every one of us. Many of the hyperreaction stories you'll see, I try to bring up the tier 2, tier 3 opportunity myself. But think why isn't Amazon spending $1 more billion and taking this entire market out? Because there are thousands of different challenges out there. Now, what do you if you want to work on this solution, don't think this at a macro level. Don't see the bigger picture. Go to the small individual problems. Why isn't Amazon doing it? Why isn't Amazon doing this? Why isn't Amazon doing that? Because there's specific challenges to it, or else Amazon have already done it, right? That's the logical thought process. So figure out those small solutions out there. We are in the refurbished segment, right? Why did we chose to be in a segment which, say, 5 years back was totally a gray market, right? So the refurbished market 5 years back was a gray market. What we realized was this is a $25 billion opportunity in India. 95% of this market is gray. What can be best? What can be a better idea to work on in a country where internet is penetrating today? In a country where the government is pushing every industry out there towards creating an economy which is legal, 100% of it. They're moving out gray elements from every of the industry. Say the logistics space, just 10 years back, it was a gray, unstructured economy. The Olas, the Ubers, and the Revagos of the world came in. Do you see as many yellow taxis out there today? No. Go outside Kolkata, go to other places, go in other countries, right? You'll find Uber has taken up the entire thing, because somewhere all the governments realize these are the companies which are now bringing structure. Tell me, where did you before see, in case of a yellow taxi, GST over there? But the Uber bill you receive is a GST bill, right? So while a structured player will always have its issues when they try to tap in the unstructured market, there will be hundreds of issues, right? But if you just focus on one thing, if you just focus on what is the perfect thing that is going wrong, we realize there's lack of technology, and only technology can bring this change. And we worked on our patents, etc., whatsoever, right? What we did right now, we realized, from our $25 billion economy opportunity, it became a $100 billion opportunity since pandemic happened. People started reusing products. People started, today at your home, you need 4 devices all of a sudden, because you have started studying from home. Your teachers are working from home, right? At the same time, people are looking for affordable options. Will you rather buy a device, say a mobile phone for 10,000 rupees, which is a Chinese phone? Because if you go to the market today, no one will show you a phone which is less than 30,000. Or will you buy a 10,000 rupees iPhone now, right? All of this probably at a premium trust whatsoever. Those are the other brand elements. I'm not speaking of the brands, my branding over here. But my point over here is figure out those small problems. If you can work out those small problems, the thing isn't about a macro picture. The thing isn't about why. This solution is not there. If the solution is not, if there's no competitors to you, that means the market does not exist to a very certain point. That means the market does not exist to a very certain point. But if you go to a very micro level, why isn't Amazon doing this idea that Sir just spoke about? Probably the biggest, the biggest opportunity out there. Why isn't Amazon doing it? Can Amazon not do it? The answer is always no. Amazon can always do it. They are not doing it because there are certain problems. Figure out those 10 different problems, work on those 10 different solutions, and work individually. 10 of you work on those 10 different solutions, right? On those 10 different problems out there. That is where you can probably get your success. So I think I was able to tell the point I was trying to speak over here.
Yeah, you are going very good. Yeah, you are explaining the things very well. Yeah.
Nice. I'll move to the next questions. Assume a person fails in a startup or does not grow the thought, what shall he do next to me? Bidep, this is a very interesting question, so tell me, many of you probably think, many of you probably haven't heard my name before, right? Haven't heard HyperX altogether before. So that clearly mentions, to a certain extent, I'm not yet successful, right? And while that is very clear, the other point is I can fail tomorrow all of a sudden, right? Think about tomorrow, right? something might go definitely greatly wrong, hugely wrong, and everything of this may shut down. Probably. But if it shuts down, what will I do next? Will I might, after having invested everything, all my energy and probably everything out there, I need some time to rethink what I am good at. And for those period of time, I may go back to a job. But think about me going back to a job, right? The negotiation over there won't be about salary. Will you pay me 30,000 a month? Will you pay me 25,000 a month? Will you pay me 50,000 a month? The only thing I would probably say and negotiate over there, so this is what I have created in my life before. And yes, I have failed, but this is from the point to this point, I have taken this all from nothing. So today, this part of your business is a 100 crore business. This part of your business I will focus on and grow this from 100 crore to probably 500 crores next 3 years, but I want 100 crore out of it. That is something I will negotiate on the table rather than negotiating should I get 25,000 or 30,000 on the table tomorrow. So, if you start a startup and you fail, you have the talent, you have the knowledge, and you have the experience out there, right? So your negotiations on the table will change. That is the only change that will happen. Rather, if you probably say today, go out and say, start negotiating for a job, your negotiations will rather be, sir, can you probably give me this much, this, that, right? This is the only change you'll find out. Moving to the next question. What was the inspiration for being a successful? What was the inspiration for being a successful entrepreneur? Piyush, as I just mentioned, I think success is a very relatable term. I mean, to a certain extent, we have all been successful. You have been successful in your career. You're studying in one of the better colleges of Kolkata. There are great professors out there. And you have a great guidance all around, right? Moving on, probably you'll have a professional career and you'll be successful over there, right? But if you feel what is one thing you have in mind, right? For me, my biggest inspiration is today. So I tell all my fellow employees over here, and this is a very young team. I am 26. My fellow employees are probably, almost at the same age. Many of my senior management are different, but this young kids who are starting out their professional career, I always tell them one thing. You know what? Work over here for 3-4 years max. 3-4 years max. Do not plan to retire from this company at 50. I won't be there for probably for next 10-12 years, after 10-12 years at max, right? So plan your career accordingly. Work over here 3-4 years. Have your ESOP. ESOP is something called employee stock options, which is part of the company foundation stock that employees get. Not the usual say corporates have that structure, but the startups do have a very great structure called the ESOP, employee stock options. Right? Get your ESOPs out there, make some money, go out there, start a startup of your own, and get 10 more people out there who could be hired by you. Right? That is where I see a success. This is something which has been very, very successfully created by a company called PayPal, which is based out of US. There's a term called PayPal Mafia. It means all the employees out from the PayPal who went out from there, created startups of their own. Some of them were acquired by PayPal. Some of them went on to become the biggest names out there, biggest names out there in the country. Somewhere, Elon Musk belongs from PayPal. So Tesla is also actually from the PayPal gang, which went out from PayPal to create some other companies out there. Right? So this is where I measure my personal success as, and that is something I will be looking at, say, when I'm 40, 45. It is something that is where I have been able to reach personally myself. Moving on. How to start your own startup? Mayank, there's no definite answer for this, right? As I just mentioned, I mean, figure out a problem and figure out what is it a problem which is significantly big enough, and can there be solutions around it? And if you figure out there are solutions around it, the next thing is go out there to everyone cold message everyone out there in LinkedIn, get someone who can help you out there in the journey, right? Seek that help, get that help, and move forward. That is the way to create a startup. There's no other way to create a startup. Ankan, the next question is from Ankan. What problems did you face at the initial stage, and how do you cope up with this? Again, as I mentioned, I mean, see, to for a person who does not have a family background in business, and probably for a person who has no experience in terms of corporate, also from a person who is from engineering background. I mean, uh, many of you over here who are from engineering background knows we do not understand the Excel sheets at all initially, right? So, and leave alone EBITDA and all those facts and figures. I mean, those are of a different thing altogether, right? Now coming to the point, I mean, that is the biggest challenge out there. You don't have your experience, and that was my biggest challenge out there. What we require at that point of time is we probably, someone is working 8 hours a day. You're probably your friend, your peer, whosoever it is, and now you probably have to put 16 hours a day, 20 hours a day, or 24 hours a day, right? Working on the same thing, figuring things out by yourself. And last and foremost thing, at times I would always say, no, for anything in life, you have to figure out one person who believes in you, right? Who can give you a chance. That is a very, very difficult thing. That person is going to stay all throughout long your life and will be part of the story that you create. For me, as I just mentioned, it was my co-founder Dipanjan, right? This is a person with so much of experience gave me a chance when it was just a dream, right? And said, let's figure this out. Let's figure this journey out together. Without him, maybe, I mean, somewhere, but I would never say, I would never say, I would never feel, uh, and probably forget the type of, the type of influence he had brought, the type of things he taught me also of my life, right? So that could be one of your professors over here at college, that could be someone else whatsoever, and I met him through a totally different cold LinkedIn message out there. I was sending out to hundreds of people out there, right? So figure out that one person in your life who can be the person who believes in you. The rest, everything will fall in life. All right. Moving on, Rajan, what was your priority in your college? Time, startup, college time, startup or study? Rajan, it's a very interesting say. I mean, I should not say this in front of professors, but if you're a mechanical engineer, right, it's quite easier, right? I mean, all you need to realize is the fundamentals of physics and figure out if you are good with numbers. So basically, maths and physics, right? If you just understand where force is working out, right, the next reaction and normal comes up on its own. So somewhere I have been very lucky that I have been a mechanical engineer, right? Probably another, if I would have been in a different stream, I might have a tough time, right? And on the other hand, I would also say, I stayed out of Kolkata, of course, and we used to stay in PGs and hostels and everything else, right? So there was a great atmosphere around. You can see people studying together the night before exams, etc. And on the other hand, startups have all. I mean, startup has been the thing for me. I don't know how it happened, but I just felt I just realized the intensity it has in me and the type of influence it has in me, right? So I won't say it has been a challenge, because what was the other thing? I don't think many of us over here in engineering study for 24 hours a day, right? You probably study for 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day, or probably if you are very, very studious, etc., probably 8 to 10 hours a day, right? The other hours of your day you're doing couple of things. You're probably preparing for something which is an exam. Say for example, could be an IAS, could be MTech, whatsoever, right? Probably you're wasting the time partying around, going around with friends, which I do not say is wasting. You're definitely making memories or creating good times out there, right? But end of the day, it's your priorities, right? I would never challenge or say this is wrong, this is right, because it is something you choose, and whatever you choose, you should not regret it end of the day, right? There's definitely an opportunity early in your career, because as I just mentioned, You have greater wavelengths for a career charm to take risks and less responsibilities out there. So if you feel this is the way ahead for you, this is a time for you. If you don't think this is a road ahead for you, this is, this is another discussion you're just getting involved in. I don't think you should do anything different than you are doing today. Sadab, your question is, if we don't have a capital, should we go for a startup? Absolutely, yes, Sadab. I mean, capital is part of it, which comes when you scale. When you're speaking about going and probably, going and addressing an entire country altogether, probably going to international markets, that is when you need capital. You don't need capital to provide a solution to one of your very near friends, right? You don't need capital to probably, provide a solution for 5 people out there, right? Unless it's a solution which is hugely different or whatsoever. But in 99% of the cases, build a small solution, go to a person and say, I have already this solution out there. Can we together now escalate and build, say, 10,000 of the solutions and replicate the entire thing out there, right? Can we do that? Can For that, this is a technology I need. There's a server space I need, and everything else. This is what I require for that, and this is the reason I need the capital for. So, uh, anyone out there today, say for example, you're planning to start a startup. I'll throw this question at you today. All of a sudden, even if someone gives you a crore, right, what will you do with it? You cannot do anything out of it because you have no clue what to do around it in terms of financial management, right? What should be your HR cost? How much should you really involve in, say, invest in terms of technology? How much will you really invest in terms of marketing? Right? None of us, none of us, none of us have those clues. So the first thing to figure out is figuring out what those questions are, right? Figuring out what is the marketing cost. If you go up to a person or say put this over Facebook, and what is the amount of advertisement money that you need to spend to say probably one person is clicking it, and for that you have just spent 100 rupees out there, right? So those numbers are important when you go to someone and say, I need a crore out there. I need, say, 100 crores out there. Figure out why do you need that 100 crores, right? So there has to be a justification. So that justification is very important. This is an open question for every one of you. So in case you're thinking about capital, capital comes the last part of it. Capital comes the last part of it, right? There are hundreds of different things to solve before the capital part comes out there altogether. Swam, it was my idea. Thank you for replying. Sure. How did COVID-19 and all affected you and your business? I just answered it some time back. So basically, while many of the potential businesses went out of play, right? COVID-19 suddenly proved to be a huge acceleration for us. I mean, since between 2020 lockdown and 2021, as we are ending the year almost in next 2 months, right? We had over a 500x scale. We had over a 500x scale month on month. It has been a phenomenal year. I can't thank people enough for 2021. That I touched. There's a lot of things ahead as well. I am back to Kolkata for something important as well. A lot of things are happening, but touch wood, the year has been fantastic. The response has been phenomenal, and I think to some extent, this has been true for many of the businesses out there. While the internet businesses were great and have done fairly well even during pandemic, right? Something like Zoom and all, where we are live right now, right? These things all of a sudden came up. But on the other hand, I think somewhere we all pivoted back. We all realized the next normal will something be different, and we all pivoted and changed our business strategies and theories accordingly, right? So it's not about just HX or just not about personally me. I have seen many of my friends, etc. Many of my people know I know who run chains of businesses. I mean, restaurants and salons out there change their business model entirely and have come with a different model altogether for post-COVID world out there, right? And then to see those solutions in play, to see those solutions happening is a great journey, and is a great learning and experience out there. The next question is very interesting. Where do you see yourself in a year? Right. I mean, I'd look forward to come back over this platform once again. I'd look forward to, discuss with you guys. And by that time, where, I mean, out of 250 people, I believe, most of you did not hear about me yet. So I would hope by that time you would have heard a little bit about me. You'd have known a little bit about HyperExchange, what are the work we are doing. And maybe, that is why I'm looking forward to be back after a year, when I'm interacting with you all again 12 months forward. Right? Which are the problems? Siddhant has this question. Which are the problems you face during your journey? Siddhant, I just answered the question. In case you want to connect with me once again on that, happy to answer once again. All right. Debanjan, there is a saying that some people have business in their blood. Do you think anyone can develop a business mindset? Debanjan, it's not required. I mean, see, not if you feel you don't have the business mindset, it is not the thing. I mean, it's not the lottery that you need to win or anything. You can happily be an entrepreneur. Do you think every startup entrepreneur that started out there has been so successful, like Sundar Pichai, who is working for Google right now? No. I mean, your journey can be totally different, and it can be even better. It can be even you can be a better person. You can have a better experience. You have to figure out what is something in life, where, as I just mentioned, what you can give 5 to 7 years of your life, right? If it makes sense to you, you start a startup, fail with it, go back to start another startup, hustle all your life. You basically can speak to yourself when you ask the question, was it right? At the same time, if you feel like, no, you don't have a business mentality out there, you don't have a business mindset out there, I mean, don't go for it. But to answer your question, do you think people have a business mindset? Not sure. I personally, if you ask me, I am not one of those guys who is to sell their chips packets to friends, etc. I don't have all the stories early in my career, etc. Right? So it was not like I was born an entrepreneur and all those stories. Right? It happened. I mean, yes, I would say early 18 and 19 were probably the years where I developed and wish to do something. It was not about wishing to just sell something out there. It was not just wishing. I felt I could bring a change, and the change could have a great story out there, create something which will be there for generations to come, etc. That's the only thing. I mean, nothing else apart from it. So I don't have a correct answer for that. Almaz has asked, what's the right time to start as entrepreneur? So Almaz, again, same answer. It's your time. You need to figure out what you're comfortable with. Is it with experience that you want to start something, or is it early in your career when you have less responsibilities that you want to just jump start into the entire thing altogether? For IT students, what are the priorities in college life? Mayank, the priorities in college life, I mean, definitely see, many of you who are in college right now, most of, I feel, while definitely there are great, great students who have probably come with say, for example, with scholarships, etc. I think for many of you, it is also true that your current education is being funded by probably your parents, by someone else, probably you have taken loans, etc. So I think to the very first priority, you have to be responsible about it. Unless you're responsible about the thing you're already into, you cannot think about being responsible about something which will be, which may not happen, say, years down the line. So that's the first priority always, right? The rest of the priorities, definitely, I think, we all realize what we are happy with, right? I mean, getting a PhD degree somewhere down the line, probably starting something of our own, trying into different things, right? Probably thinking about changing the career altogether, maybe music, maybe something else, or last and foremost thing, making sure we have a good college life to speak about and boast about, with fun and entertainment all throughout life here on, right? So all could be true. The second priority is not the first priority. So I just mentioned about the first priority. The second priority is up to you to choose. Any hobbies? Yes, definitely. I have a lot of hobbies. I mean, if you guys have cricket matches out there, once the college reopens, please invite me. I still love playing cricket a lot. That is probably my first hobby out there. Right. Though I might not be able to make sure if I could hit a run or not, but I'll definitely try. So yes, I mean that has been something I love doing as a kid, and I still love doing, but I don't get enough opportunities. Right. Life has changed. Even my friends, my school friends, etc., have moved out, moved continents out there, right? So that is always an hobby, right? And apart, I mean, I've authored 2 books. I love writing still, right? Writing has always been a hobby. On the other hand, so nothing much apart. In college, Anirban has asked, this in college was any movie your motivation? Anirban, I don't generally bring this thing up too much, but yes, Steve Jobs has been a great deep influence, and definitely yes, to your question, yes. And that is one of the movies that had a great deep influence in me, about a person who came from nothing, right? Created something out of just sheer will out there and did something which changed the world forever. Right? Shresha has asked this: what are the good startups for biotechnology students? Shresha, I think there's a lot of technology advancements being worked upon in different fields aspects. I think Sir just mentioned Sir was just mentioning one of the opportunities out there in terms of rural. Right, so a lot of startups. I was probably reading it over your story or something. One of the startups which are now working to figure out how can the fertilizers, etc., could be 100 times more effective just by the process how it is used, right, than it is being done today. And then they are using other equipments to figure out this delta change out there, how much of more effectiveness it is happening by the process they are suggesting, etc. I mean, Shasha, I'm not very sure if it really falls under directly to your domain, right? To be very honest. But other things, I mean, definitely please read this up. I don't have a proper answer right away with your question right now. Shrishti has asked, how did you know your idea was the one which you chose, and any learning process during the startup of being in Korea? Shrishti, 2 things over here. The second question first. We started a different. We started with an different idea altogether when we did. All right. So to answer your second question, over the time, I am not very sure how many times, but I think at least 4 to 5 times we have pivoted and realized, this is the better way to approach. The problem statement has been different. The problem statement has always been the same, but the way we approach it, so our solution has evolved all throughout over time. So that is where we moved from one model to the other, right? And we pivoted and tried out and failed, and then moved on to the next model. So yes, the problem statement that we were solving has always been the same, but yes, our approach to it, or the solutions we were trying it out, has evolved a lot than we started. So the entire thing, the entire idea has almost changed altogether. And to now answer your first question, if I think it was the idea, I don't even think today it is. I mean, there could possibly be, tomorrow things might not work out anymore like they're doing today. Probably some of my competitors may come out and probably change the story altogether. Could be anything out there, right? Unless and until you probably have an exit as in, say, someone like Amazon or the biggest players out there buy you out, or say you go to the Bombay Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, and list your company over there, right? I don't think unless we have that exit, we can ever call ourselves successful. We have seen the biggest stories out there. Snapdeal failed from a point where it was $6.1 billion valuation wise, to a point where no one was ready to buy Snapdeal at even $1 billion, right? So we have seen the biggest of the fails. I mean, even one of the companies which Nitesh Agarwal, I mean, Oyo has been a just give me one second. So Oyo has been a a big example to that as well. Okay, and I think Ritesh somewhere had an issue about his next fundraising. We had seen a lot of headlines where somewhere SoftBank, its main investor, did not want to participate in the following rounds. And all those stories out there. So it's never the idea, right? You evolve, you pivot, you learn, you unlearn whatever you knew, and move on, right? There's always a chance around it, but if you like something, even with 1% possibility, take that chance. Now moving on to the next question,
Okay,
Bideep.
from our faculty, if you have any question, I would like to ask any
Sure,
any
please.
faculty, if you have any question, you can ask directly Mr. Shatani.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shatani Roy, for the beautiful words. Really, our participants will be motivated by your successful
Thank you.
stories. Thank you once again for this beautiful session and in this festive day also.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have shared my details over there over the chat, so anyone who wants to connect, happy
Yes,
to
yes,
sure. Looking forward. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Now I would like to call IIC coordinator, Professor Tanmoy Pal, to present the e-certificate to our speaker. Tanmoy da, over to you.
Yes, I request Sri Datta sir, Guru madam, please enable me the sharing option.
I request Guru ma'am to bring Tanmoy as co-host option, please.
1 minute, please. Yes, done. Tanmoy, proceed.
Yes, thank you. Sir, this is a very small token of appreciation from our end
Thank you so much.
to
Much
you.
honored.
It was a very wonderful evening. We have enjoyed your, your
Thank you so
experience, your motivational speech. I hope this will motivate you, the all students, and including the faculty members.
Thank
They
you so
might
much.
think in a different way, like right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we will share this certificate with you. We'll provide it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Professor Tanmoy Pal. Next, I would like to call IIC coordinator, Professor Bulbul Mukherjee, to give vote of thanks. Bulbul Mukherjee, madam, over to you.
Thank you, Shanti. On behalf of Institutions Innovation Council, BIT, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our honorary speaker, Mr. Shatanik Roy, co-founder and chief product officer, HyperExchange, who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace the webinar. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts and path of success that will surely be going to encourage us in our future events. Our students and all participants will definitely be motivated. They can be encouraged to cherish their dreams. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot to all the participants, including my dear students of BIT, to make the webinar a grand success. Thank you, our principal sir, Professor Dr. N.C. Ghosh, President of IIC-BIT, Professor Orpita Chakraborty, Vice President of IIC-BIT, Professor Dr. Tapan Kumar Pal, Convener of IIC-BIT, Professor Tanmoy Pal, and BIT College Management for your advice and cooperation. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Techno India Group Management for their sincere support and inspiration. Thank you, my IIC teammates, Sudipto Dotto, Sutapa Roy Mishra, Shubhra Sarkar, Shanti Sinha, Bishwajit Maiti, Piali Pradhan, and social media coordinator Tripti Majumdar. Without your support, the event couldn't be organized. Thank you all. Thank you very much to all my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Bulbul, our IIC activity coordinator and IPR activity coordinator, IIC BIT. I'm requesting Abhishek to give the feedback link in chat and WhatsApp group too. I think we will provide the certificate within 3 to 4 days. And with principal sir's permission and our president, our vice president, and our convener, I'm ending the session now. It's a very good evening. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you, Sutapa. Thank you, Sutapa. You have done your job very well. Yeah. Okay, can I leave now? Yeah. Can I leave? Can I leave?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
sir.
Thank you to everybody. Yeah. Thank you to everybody.
Watching. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, participants, you please check the chat box. We have shared the feedback form. So we request everyone, please copy the feedback form link and paste in your browser so that we can end our session right now. As Madam already said, the certificate will be issued within 2-3 days. So don't do it. Thank you all.
Please fill up the form. Okay. Now we are ending the session.